let's start with Jodi Hildebrandt. So Jodi Hildebrandt of Connections, she's been, for the past, I don't know, for the past year plus, she's been partnering with Ruby Franke of 8 Passengers, a very big YouTube family channel that actually stopped doing their content, I think about like a year ago, but they had about 2.5 million subscribers. Now, end of August of this year, there was a 12-year-old boy who knocked on a neighbor's house asking for food. And the neighbor was really perplexed because the child was, had duct tape around the ankles, around the wrist. And then upon closer inspection, you can kind of see some wounds and stuff. So called 911 and come to find out that it's Ruby Franke's 12-year-old child who has been staying with Jodi Hildebrandt. Now, they suspect that Ruby Franke should have known what was going on because they did say that, oh, there was a video that was posted 2 days ago. But of course, as content creators, you never really know when videos are created. Sometimes they can be created and then maybe posted like days later, weeks later, I don't know, maybe months later, who knows, right? But they have a search warrant for Jodi Hildebrandt. I just want to shout out to the 8 Passengers. There's like a Reddit thread for this and they posted the search warrant on there. So this is the search warrant that I want to talk about for Jodi Hildebrandt's house, and then they're going to take possession of her electronics and stuff like that too. I wonder if there's going to be like any surveillance footage or anything like that. Those are very interesting to look at, especially when you're, presenting evidence in trial. So let's start with the affidavit for search warrant. Most people at least have like a Ring now. Yeah, like a Ring Cam, Nest Cam, Eufy, any of those things. So I don't know if they do. But I kind of just skimmed over this. So maybe they will say that they found something like that. But I think it was just very generic. Like, oh, we're going to search for this. And then we found this, and this. But it was like very like broad. It wasn't very specific or anything. But yeah, I just skimmed this earlier. So affidavit for a search warrant, the undersigned affiant, Sergeant Nicholas Tobler of Santa Clarence Ivans Police Department. Now, again, Santa Clara Ivans. I searched where this police department was. And apparently the Franke family, they were living all the way in Springville. Springville is kind of close to Salt Lake City, but to go from Springville all the way to Santa Clara and Ivans, where Jodi Hildebrandt's residence is, that's about a 2.5-hour drive. Because initially I was like, oh, maybe the two women, maybe they live near each other or something like that. Like, I'm not really quite sure what Ruby Franke's living conditions were like, or like, where she decided to move or anything. All I heard was that perhaps her husband, was not living in the house anymore for maybe like about a year. And I don't know if she was still living in her Springville house, but then maybe she like rented a place near Jodi Hildebrandt, or maybe she ended up living with Jodi Hildebrandt. We're not really sure. But all we know is the kids were about 2.5 hours away from their original home, which is in Springville. That your affiant has reason to believe that on the premises known as Redacted, further described as a Southwest-style home in the Redacted, the home sits on a corner lot and faces Redacted with a number Redacted posted on the east side of the driveway. The home is a dark brown in color and has decorative rock affixed on the front entry. The home has a dirt rock driveway that leads off of Redacted and up on the driveway. On the person described as Jodi Hildebrandt, date of birth 6/18/1969. Again, I believe Jodi Hildebrandt should be around 55 or something-ish, right? Yeah, maybe 55. On the item described as property used in the commission of the criminal offense of child abuse. In the city of Ivans, county of Washington, state of Utah, there is now certain property or evidence described as... Hi, Chris. How are you doing today? So I began my first run in BG3, 10 out of 10. Also went and got leftovers, had a boil last night, like a seafood boil or like a boil on your skin. Right, most people have at least a Ring now. Him crying was so sad for real. Yeah, we I don't know, maybe I was thinking about maybe we can listen to the entirety of the 911 call and then like some of the just like the police scanner stuff, but I don't know. I was like on the fence with it. I was going to, but now I'm just kind of like, I don't know, we'll see. Oh wow, that's a distance. Yeah, because I was just wondering how could the kids have been so far from their house? But again, I don't know if Ruby Franke was relocating or, maybe she did just drop off the kids to live at Jodi Hildebrandt's and she just kind of went back to Springville. Not really sure. In the city of Ivans, county of Washington, state of Utah, there is now certain property or evidence described as any and all rope used to bound the victim. Duct tape style tape used to bound or cover wounds from being bound by rope, plastic, or shrink wrap used to cover injuries, and or other items used to bound or cause bodily harm to an individual. Now, I listened to... There was an interview. Actually, I listened to 2 interviews that Jodi Hildebrandt's niece has done. Her name is Jessie Hildebrandt. And Jessie Hildebrandt also said that when she was being disciplined by her aunt, Jodi Hildebrandt, that she was also bound by rope as well. So I don't know if we're going to have more victims that are going to come out. We're going to maybe see a lot of similarities between each of the victim stories. So far, we've only had 2 victims come out so far. That's going to be Jessie Hildebrandt, niece of Jodi Hildebrandt. Apparently, I think she mentioned that her dad was the oldest of the siblings, and I think Jodi was the youngest of the siblings. Yeah. And then the second victim is going to be Adam. I listened to his interview. It was a very long interview. It was like 5 hours long on the Mormon stories, and I thought it was really interesting. So I don't know. A lot of you guys told me to listen to it, so I do appreciate you guys sending it over to me. But it's 5 hours long. I think initially you might be like, oh my God, 5 hours, that's a lot. But like it actually goes by really quickly. It keeps you like captivated the entire time. And it's extremely, extremely sad. Neighbors said that Ruby had been leaving her children on devices for weeks on end. I find that crazy. Yeah, I did hear about that for Ruby Franke. It's crazy because a lot of people focus on Ruby Franke initially because she's like the YouTube, former YouTube star, mom influencer, blah, 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 blah. But when the 911 call, the caller mentioned like, oh, this lady's bad, or there's always been bad things going on in her house. I was like curious. I was like, oh, what is he talking about? Like, at this point, I didn't know anything about Jodi Hildebrandt. So I was wondering, why was the neighbor saying these things about Jodi Hildebrandt when most of the focus was on Ruby Franke and like, her leaving her kids alone at her home and stuff like that. So yeah, very, very crazy. And that said property or evidence was unlawfully acquired or unlawfully possessed, has been used or is possessed with the purpose of using to commit crime or conceal the commission of an offense, or is evidence of illegal conduct. Affidavit believes the property and evidence described above is evidence of crime or crimes of, I'm just going to say CA, I guess. I'll just say CA. You guys know what I mean. The facts establish the grounds for issuance of a search warrant are, so this is going to be the police officer. I'm employed by the Santa Clarence Ivan City Police Department and have been since 2010. I am assigned to the patrol division as a sergeant. I graduated post and have basic knowledge of alcohol, drug, and street-level crimes. I was assigned to the investigation division and served as detective for the Santa Clara Ivans Police Department for approximately 5 years. I have participated in numerous investigations, including property, person, and sex crimes. I've attended and completed an advanced sexual assault investigation class and crime scene academy, where I received advanced training in crime scene investigations, evidence collection, and processing. On August 30th, 2023, officers responded to report of a CA located in Ivans. Upon arrival, officers found that a redacted had duct tape around their ankles and appears to be emaciated because the victim was abnormally thin and weak. And again, I looked up the definition of emaciated because I was just curious, emaciated versus like starvation, are they very similar? The like medical definition for emaciated is like if you lose like 20% of your original like body fat or something. Body weight. Medical personnel removed the duct tape and located open wounds. The victim informed officers and medical personnel that the wounds were from a rope that was used to tie the victim to the ground. The victim informed officers that Jodi put the ropes on their ankles and wrists, and that they, now I'm going to be very, we're going to be very curious here to who is the they? Is they going to be Jodi and perhaps mom Ruby Franke? Or did Jodi ask other siblings to participate in this, which is horrible? Or did Jodi have other maybe accomplices, maybe other people that were part of her therapy group, or maybe other people that were employed underneath her? I don't know. Wonder who they is going to be. Used cayenne pepper and honey to dress the wounds. Cayenne pepper and honey. Like cayenne pepper, maybe because it stings. Honey. Why honey? The victim told the officer that the 2 other siblings were in the home when redacted left a redacted year-old. Officers identified Jodi as Jodi Hildebrandt and found that she resides around the corner from when the victim was located. Jodi Hildebrandt's address is redacted in Ivans. Officers responded to the residence and conducted a protective sweep to ensure no other individuals were in need of emergency medical attention during the sweep. Now, remember, I don't know if you guys listened to the 911 call, but I think it's in the video that I posted previously about this entire situation. In the 911 call, the 911 caller starts getting a little bit antsy because he realizes that Jodi Hildebrandt is at her house. I think he actually saw her maybe like outside, or was it her car or something, but he realized that, hey, like Jodi Hildebrandt, she's actually home. And at some point, she might come looking for this little boy because they were sitting like in the front porch, I believe. And so he was talking to the 911 dispatch caller, dispatcher, and was like, oh, like, where are the officers at? And she's trying to figure out and locate, like if they're coming or not or what they're doing. And I could tell, you're probably getting a little antsy because, he probably doesn't want to be confronted by this other woman who might take the boy back. The other juvenile has not been located. Oh, sorry. During the sweep, officers located one juvenile who was reluctant to speak to officers. The other juvenile has not been located. Officers identified a possible safe room in the basement that is locked and is unknown if anyone is inside. Now, when they say safe room, I wonder why did they decide to call it a safe room? Was it just like a regular door that just had maybe a lock on it? Or was it like a bolted looking door? Like when I think of like safe room, I think of like, I don't know, like you guys ever watched that movie with Jodie Foster called Panic Room where it's like steel or like metal doors or something like that. And like, I don't know. I wonder when they say safe room, what do they mean by that? Here it is, so unbelievably cruel. The they is Ruby and Jodi. Yeah, but like maybe, right? I wonder who they mean. I mean, we're assuming it's Ruby and Jodi, but who knows how many other individuals might have been involved in this. I don't know if Jodi has other people that she employs to be involved in disciplining kids and whatever, This case is like horrible. I want to throw up thinking about it. I am requesting a search warrant to obtain any and all evidence relating to CA and to access a possible safe room to determine that there are no other victims inside. So I don't know if it's just like, I just want to know what their definition of safe room is. Maybe it's just a room that's just like locked and they're just calling it a safe room, or maybe the kids called it a safe room. That's where they got the term from. All right. So this one, again, this is going to be the same thing. Okay, so this is, I think the judge is, okay, you are therefore commanded to make a search in the daytime, the above name or described person, vehicle, item, and purposes. Okay, so this is from the judge approving this search warrant. All right, return to search warrant. Executed on September 7, 2023. The personal property listed below or set out on the inventory attached hereto was taken from the person of Jodi Hildebrandt by virtue of a search warrant dated 30th day of August 2023. Oh, never mind. Sorry. So the search warrant wasn't on August 30th, and this is just, okay, gotcha. I was getting confused by the date at the bottom really quick. So what they find at Jodi Hildebrandt's residence. So we have Scott's tape and saran wrap, miscellaneous papers and sticky notes. We have a journal, a bowl containing a red liquid with a metal spoon. Now, I'm wondering if this red liquid may have been the cayenne pepper and the honey mixed together in a bowl. We have 2 super absorbent dressing, Coban bandage, 2 white ankle socks, Coban bandage, 2 white ankle socks. Now, I wonder if the way that they listed this, I wonder if the bandages were kind of like on the ankle socks or if it was like wrapped around, not really quite sure. A bowl containing a red liquid with a metal spoon. So again, same thing. A brown and white rope. A black book. A brown and white rope. 2 handcuffs. And 3 carabiners. I don't know what a carabiner is. What is a carabiner? Oh, the climbing clips. Okay. These are actually really useful for... Here, I'll just show you guys what it looks like. It's like those like metal clip things that people use for climbing, or I like to use it for, when I have for my dog's leash and stuff like that, and clip other things on there. Okay, so that's what a carabiner clip is. Hi, Patty. How are you doing today? How's it going? Safe rooms, especially bunkers. Ruby and Jodi appear to be millionaires. Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of wish that they define what the safe room was. But maybe, if they wrote safe room while they're asking the judge to execute the search warrant, maybe it makes it sound more, I don't know, more like, because like, what if it's just a room, right? And they're like, okay, we're going to call it a safe room. That way the judge thinks it's like very urgent and we just can't get in. I don't know. The way when they say safe room, I think like panic rooms or something. Keys for carabiners. Yeah, that's a good one too. I have everything like electronic now, well, except for one of my, no, actually just kidding. Everything used to be electronic when I used to live in an apartment. All right, so back to the search warrant. I, Sergeant Nicholas Tobler of Santa Clara Ivans Police Department, by whom this warrant was executed, do swear the above listed or below Attached inventory contains a true and detailed account of all property taken by me and under the warrant of the 30th day of August 2023. Now we have our next one. The Anderson Affiant, Sergeant Nicholas Tobler of Santa Clara's Ivan Police Department, upon an oath or written affidavit subscribed under criminal penalty, declares that your affiant has reason to believe that on the premises known as redacted, again, Jodi Hildebrandt, Ruby Franke, on the items described as again, this is going to be a description of the Jodi Hildebrandt house. In the city of Ivins, county of Washington, state of Utah, there is now a certain property or evidence described as any and all cell phones, audio recordings, computers, tablets, laptops, surveillance footage. Again, if there is surveillance footage, that's going to be really interesting for, there's a trial for the jury to watch. Doorbell cameras, doorbell cameras, and any other communication device used to send text message or email or any other audio-visual communications. And that said property or evidence was unlawfully acquired or is unlawfully possessed, has been used or is possessed for the purpose of using to commit or conceal the commission of another offense, or is evidence of illegal conduct. Again, this is going to be the same thing as earlier. We read this part as well, how the officers responded. There was duct tape, open wounds, how they would put cayenne pepper and honey on those wounds. Now they're talking about Jodi Hildebrandt, how they found, this is the same thing. Let's see, search warrant. A search warrant was served on the home, during which officers found that the victim's mother, Ruby Franke, had left 3 children. Oh, I thought it was 4. 3 children. Why did I think it was 4 children? Had left 3 children in the care of Jodi Hildebrandt. Officers also found that Jodi Hildebrandt, I could have sworn it was maybe like the 12-year-old, there's like a 10-year-old, and then 2 other teenage daughters as well. So I guess just 3. Officers also found that Jodi Hildebrandt has posted several posts on social media and YouTube channels. Did you guys, by any chance, have you guys seen any of the connections, like podcasts or videos or anything? I was gonna check it out, maybe. The document is blurred. Here, you gonna zoom it? Yeah, I had to take a screenshot because I got this from the 8 Passengers Reddit, and when you try to save the photo directly, it saves as like a web page or whatever it's called, and I take a screenshot, so it's like not like crystal clear, but you can still read it. Panic Room was a memorable film. It just exists in a safe room. The circumstances extra damning. I don't know. I think like the safe room thing, we should just take it with I would wait until more details come out, because I don't know what their definition of safe room is. But, it kind of sounds like, if we want to think worst case scenario, it sounds like potentially a room that they could have kept the kids in to lock them in, right, while the kids were being tied down. But we don't know that. So, safe room could have just been a term that the officer used, and then we're taking it and we're making it more than it really is. But we'll see. Hi, Maha. How are you doing today? How's it going? But yeah, we'll just keep it in the back of our minds for now. We'll remember this safe room term. Oh yeah, so have you guys seen any of the videos? See, I don't know. I might check out. I don't know if the content's still up, but I'm kind of curious. Obviously, none of the extreme stuff are probably going to be on there. It's probably just going to be like the easy, lighthearted stuff, easy for people to digest, right? To get them like hooked in. And then I did hear that Adam did an interview, which is one of Jodi Hildebrandt's victims. Adam did an interview where he says there are like, I think 3 stages. Where like it's like the first stage where you have her and like she's like super like she's like a gregarious person, very likable, very funny. And then there's like step 2 and then like step 3, and like as it goes into like from step 1, step 2, step 3, it gets more and more extreme. But I don't know. I might have to check it out because I just want to see. I'm very curious. They're wondering if someone is in there, so it must be kind of big. How many people have a room like that? They used the term panic room, I think. Yeah, I think initially in the 911 call, I think they mentioned like panic room, but then now on this search warrant, they said safe room. But I don't know. It might not just be. We'll see what it is. I have to. You think YouTube remove all videos? I know YouTube. Are you wait for connections or for 8 Passengers? Haven't seen any of those videos. Yes, panic room is definitely for people to hide in. Yeah, I don't know. I'll just like wait and see. Because I feel like we just need descriptions. I don't know. Or maybe there'll be a body cam footage that'll be released sometime in the future or something like that. We'll see. Let's see. So officers also found that Jodi Hildebrandt has posted several on social media and on YouTube channels where she discusses mental health and family therapy. I'm requesting a search warrant to obtain any electrical device and or communication device from Jodi Hildebrandt's person and residents to obtain any possible communications between Jodi Hildebrandt and Ruby Franke. Also to obtain any possible videos or audio recordings that would have caught any abuse or injury sustained from that abuse. It's the same thing. So now, any and all cell phones, audio recordings, computers, tablets, laptops, surveillance footage, doorbell cameras, and or any communication devices. Okay, so I think this is where the judge is basically approving it. Yep, judge is approving it. So here's what they recovered. The personal property listed below or set out in the inventory attached here to was taken from the person of Jodi Hildebrandt. Ruby Franke, by virtue of a search warrant dated 30th August 2023 and issued by Magistrate Carlin S. Myers of the 5th District Court, St. George Department. So here's what we got. An Apple MacBook Pro, an Apple iPhone, an Apple MacBook, an Apple MacBook, an Apple MacBook. Why are there so many MacBooks? An Apple iPhone, peach colored, an Apple iPhone, an Apple MacBook Pro. I, Surgeon Nicholas Tober of Santa Clara's, by whom this warrant was executed, do swear the above listed and below attached inventory contains true and detailed account of all the property taken by me under the warrant on the 30th day of August 2023. So this is all we got so far. So we got a bunch of Apple products, a bunch of electronic devices. And then for the first one, we had some rope. We had bowl with like a weird liquid red substance in it, which I think is possibly the cayenne and the honey thing. Now, remember in the arrest affidavit, do you guys remember how it was mentioned that Jodi Hildebrandt did have some, it was like some of the, what's it called? Like gauze or something. There was like some gauze laying around on like the sink. So that's why they think that, like, you know, she knew that these kids were, you know, possibly had some injuries and maybe she was the one who was stressing them. But yeah, crazy. I've been following Mormon stories on this one. In psychology in Seattle now, shifting from a Duger deep dive. Extra disturbing that she was a therapist. And the crazy thing is, I think at some point, I think Ruby Franke shifted and she was trying to be like a life coach as well, right? I don't know if Ruby Franke went through the hoops and hurdles to actually get like a therapy license, but I mean, maybe easier to just be a life coach, right? I think life coach, I don't know, are there life coach credentials? Life coach certification, how to become a life coach. So maybe you could just get like a certification. Yeah, so therapist needs a bachelor degree, typically master's degrees in order to practice. When a life coach technically doesn't need, sorry, this is a Forbes Health article. Because I know there are some articles that called both Jodi and Ruby Franke therapists, but I don't know if Ruby Franke was actually a therapist. Maybe she was more of like a life coach or something like that. Cayenne pepper, yeah. Yeah, so the Mormon stories one, I think I'm about like, because I listened to Jodi Hildebrandt's story on the interview that she did, but I just started on her story on Mormon stories. I still have to finish it. I heard she had her license suspended, so life, no, so like, I think you're talking about Jodi Hildebrandt, right? You said, I heard that she had a license suspended, so life coach is the logical step. From what I've heard, it was suspended temporarily, just temporarily suspended. Are you referring to when she took one of her clients' information and then like went back to like the school that he was at and like told them all the information? They had to reinstate her license. Jodi volunteered. Sorry, we're talking about two different timelines right now. So there was a time in Jodi Hildebrandt's career where she did have her license, I believe, temporarily suspended. And then at this point right now, from what I've heard so far from the news and the media, she volunteered. Yeah, she volunteered to, I guess, either to have her license suspended again or give it up or something. But yeah, these are two different time frames. Hello. We're talking about Jodi Hildebrandt. Jodi Hildebrandt and YouTube mom influencer Ruby Franke of 8 Passengers. They're being accused of child abuse right now of Ruby Franke's children. So we're talking about the search warrant and the stuff that they uncovered and some information on there. She ran her mouth about the clients. Oh, I didn't know she got back. I didn't know she got it back. Yeah, because from what I heard, it was temporarily suspended back in the day. And that was back in, I think, early 2010s. Hi from Australia. Hello. Hi, Anne. How are you doing today? Hi, Mama Jama. How's it going? But that's what we got so far. They did have a child custody hearing that happened. Of course, none of that is like public. But yeah, other than that, I think the next, let's see, when is the next? I'm not quite sure when the next hearing is going to happen for Jodi Hildebrandt and Ruby Franke, but we'll see. Me too. It's the woman who tied her kids and starved them. She's a mommy vlogger, or was. Major culty vibes. It's obvious she was abusing them even before being tied up. I didn't watch any of the 8 Passengers content. I actually didn't even know about them. The only time I heard about her was when she was being lambasted for not bringing one of her like 5th grade child like her school lunch or something. I just remember I was like, well, this is like fucking crazy. But that was like a couple months back that I think I heard about it. But oh my goodness. That was the quickest response. Oh. Well, I think like a lot of I feel like a lot of YouTubers who cover a lot of the true crime stuff, they're way bigger than I am, and their chat's usually going really, really fast. So I don't think they're like purposely trying to ignore you or anything like that. It's just that, you know, their chat goes by really fast and it's hard to kind of go back and forth. Hearing will be out in October. They will likely get out on bail. I heard that I believe for Ruby Franke, I think maybe she might be out on bail, of course, with a lot of conditions. And Jodi Hildebrandt, however, I think they're maintaining that she's a threat to other people and that she might even, you know, perhaps try to flee. So I don't know if Jodi Hildebrandt is gonna get out on yeah, I don't know. Ruby Franke, maybe, but Jodi, I don't think so. We'll see. Even though their bail hearing was postponed, even though their bail hearing was postponed, a few things came out of it. I just did a quick catch up the other day. Yeah, there's gonna be so many crazy clips. I knew it was gonna be sick, so I avoided for as long as I could. I don't know. The reason why I want to cover this is because I think it's really important to, like, I know that she's not doing the family YouTube vlogs anymore, but I feel like this all stemmed from that. Hopefully from this, maybe there'll be like a major change in how, you know, the family YouTubers do their family vlogs. I don't know. Apparently, I think that her sister did one of her sisters did a video addressing this. And people in the comments were saying that because I didn't realize, but their entire family, they all do like family YouTube vlogs. They all have like large families. They all vlog. I think Ruby Franke has like 3 other sisters. I think 2, I know for sure, but maybe 3 other sisters that do the same thing. And in the comments, I mean, I could just verify, but I forgot her name. In the comments, people did mention that one of the sisters who made a video about this, she changed her YouTube name from like blah, blah, blah family YouTube vlogs to like just her name. And then like she changed like her about me or something. Let me see. I can just look it up really quick. Sorry. I want to make sure I get this information right. I was just reading the comments. Yeah, in the comments they were mentioning that she changed her name. Before it was like maybe Daru Family Crew Vlogs or something like that. And now it's just like her name. So I don't know. Maybe she'll change, you know, her content, or maybe this is just like short-lived. But I don't know. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to vlog and then having like, you know, because obviously your children are a huge part of your life, right? I think that's okay. But like, it just depends on how you do it. Like, I don't know, when you're like forcing your kids to be in like all the thumbnails and they're like super young and you're shoving the camera in their face when they're crying or when they're like having, I don't know, like having your first period or something like that, right? Like, I don't just like stuff like that. It's just like, yikes. I don't know.